My name is History Dumbed Down. This is my first YouTube video ever. Some of you may know me from Instagram. I run an Instagram meme page with the same exact name. So yeah, this is my first YouTube video. I'm super excited. I've always wanted to do a tier list video, especially a historical one. Like back when I was like in middle school, I grew up watching Drew Darnell and all those guys, and so like Emperor Tiger Star, and they would do tier lists, historical tier lists. So I wanted to make my own. So this one today here, I'm doing empires. We have a lot of empires, a lot of historical polities. I might do a more detailed one where I actually rate each polity and go over criteria. This one will make it short and sweet. I'll just go over which empires I like, and I'll just rate them, which empires I like. So we'll start number one with the Abbasids. Do I like the Abbasids, yes or no? So how do I feel about the Abbasids? I think the Abbasids are culturally very important. All right, the Islamic Golden Age, Baghdad, the beauty of Baghdad. I played a little bit of AC Mirage. Great game. Really kind of captures the glory of Baghdad at its height. I think the Abbasids are a pretty impressive empire. They didn't have the best longevity militarily, but culturally they had a lasting influence. I don't mind the Abbasids. I don't mind them. I don't love them. I'll give the Abbasids like a B. I don't mind the Abbasids. They're all right. You know, Abbasids are chill. Abbasids are all right. Persians, Achaemenids. So forewarning, I am Greek. Nah, I'm playing. The only empire really. We'll wait until we get to the Ottomans. Then I'll give you, I'll give you a more a more colorful opinion about the Ottomans. Achaemenids unironically like really good empire, impressive, really long, like the first world superpower, like the first transcontinental superpower. Like that's very impressive, right? People talk about Sargon of Akkad and all these like Sumerian and Mesopotamian emperors claiming to like be the ruler of the universe, even though they ruled a land the size of like Rhode Island. But the Persian emperors were truly like literally they ruled the world basically. They were the first guys to do it. I would argue the first guys to do it in like the Middle East, Europe, like that region, not China, because then there is Asia, there is China, and the Chinese emperors and what they were doing. But the Achaemenids, like, and not just that, like, aside from the land, you've got strong military, the royal road, culture beautiful, Persepolis, the Behistun inscriptions. You've got what else does Persia have? Yeah, that's it. That's all I can think of right now. But yeah, Persians, I like Persians. I'll give them an A. Achaemenids, impressive empire. Algerian Sultanate, honestly, I don't know too much. I know it's based in modern day Somalia. Um, oh gosh, and I knew this. I played around at EU4 with the Algerian Sultanate. So you know what? They're kind of chill. You know, Algerian Sultanate, I'll put you in B. I played a round of, yeah, Axum. Ooh, Ethiopian Empire. Shout out Ethiopia. I like Ethiopia. I have a buddy who's Ethiopian. Shout out my boy Yossi. Shout out Ethiopia. I like Ethiopia. Yeah, A. I like Ethiopia. Plus, I'm Greek. Ethiopia's like Orthodox bros. I like Ethiopia. I like Axum. Ashanti. Um, hmm. I don't know too much about the Ashanti. I just know the Golden Stool, the whole story about the Golden Stool, how the British like stole it. Did they steal it? Or I knew the Ashanti were trying to hide it. I think the British stole it and then they gave it back. I'm really someone correct me if I'm wrong about the Ashanti. I just know that the Golden Stool was like where the king sat on, and it had like bells or something. It had like a detection system where it could detect if enemies were trying to approach the king. Again, honestly, I don't know too much about the Ashanti Empire. I've I've got no beef. I don't know them that well. Assyria. Honestly, I don't like Assyria. I don't. I really don't. Like they had a really impressive army, and I read somewhere. I watched a what's that? Oh, this guy had a podcast. I forgot. It was like Rise and Fall of Civilizations on YouTube. I forgot. It was such a good podcast. He wrote about the Assyrian Empire and how the Assyrians were like they had the world's like I would say the world's first like professional army. They had such a because they were like able to figure out a way for their soldiers to fight throughout all four seasons because before the Assyrians did that, the armies could only fight during I think the summer. They couldn't fight during the winter because they had to keep track of the crops or something, the farming. But the Assyrians were able to figure out a way to like have their troops fight throughout the entire year. So they had a really well trained and professional army, which I guess is impressive. But I don't know if I like that because the Assyrians were such horrible, like they were evil and they like knew they were evil. They bragged about it. Like they wrote about how cool they were. Like, yeah, dude, I wiped out a whole city. I killed everybody, bro. Yeah. Like I don't know if I like that. I don't like these. I don't like them. I don't like these Assyrians. I said it. Austria-Hungary. I like. You know what? I don't care, dude. I like Austria-Hungary. Such a ugly, dysfunctional empire. I like the Austrian Empire too. Ugly, dysfunctional empires, full of like 30 ethnicities. The officers had to speak like 8 languages for the whole army to get together. And then Austrian Empire was just Napoleon's punching bag. Like I remember watching those documentaries like on YouTube, like Kings and Generals and stuff about Napoleonic Wars, and the poor Austrian Empire would just get dunked on every single time. They won like what was the one battle they won? They won two big battles against Napoleon. What was it? Was it not Wagram? Aspern Essling. Was that the one that they actually beat Napoleon? Let me Google it. Let me double check. Aspern Essling. Yes, I think this was the one battle where they actually had Napoleon's number, and then Napoleon took it personally and beat them. I think later at Wagram. Wagram? Is that, am I right? I think it's Wagram. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. So that was July 5th, 1809. Aspirin Essling was May. So yeah. Yeah, like 2 months after. 6 weeks. 6 weeks after. Give or take. And then they finally, and then the Battle of Leipzig, that where they finally like beat Napoleon, not for good, but that was kind of like the killing blow. Napoleon had to flee back to France, and then yeah, and the Austrians played a big role in like organizing the military. But I think a lot of credit should go to like Russia and stuff. But yeah, aside from yeah, no, yeah, they were just a big punching bag. But again, I still yeah, I don't care. I just something about them. I like the Austrian Empire. I just do. All right, Ayyubids. I like the Ayyubids. They got Saladin. That's cool. I like that. I like that's it. Just because they have Saladin. B. Ayyubids. Cool empire. Aztecs. I like the Aztecs. The Aztecs are cool. The Aztecs are cool. I don't have much to say honestly about the Aztecs. Like the art, the architecture. It's just sad because there's all we really know about the Aztecs comes from like Spanish writers and then the Florentine Codex. I think we need to know more about the true like scale. But then again, I don't know because the Aztecs were kind of evil because nobody liked them. That's why the Spanish beat them because the Spanish were able to find native allies and then you combine Spanish weaponry and soldiers and then the native allies and they were just able to just destroy the Aztecs. Hmm. No, personally, I don't mind them. I'll put a B. I got to be a little more critical here. I can't have everybody in B. I'm too Babylon. I don't know which Babylon this is. Nah. Belgian Empire. F. Come on, bro. Evil. Evil. Yeah, that's all. Congo. That's all I gotta say. Congo. We all know. Brazil. Brasil. I got that up. Brasil. I love Brazil. I lived there for 3 years. S tier. I love Brazil. Dom Pedro. I love Brazil. Yes. S tier. Automatic S tier. Okay, British Empire. Woo! British Empire. Some people are gonna get mad at me. Some people are gonna get mad at me. I don't mind the British. I'm not Indian. I am half Cypriot, so I shouldn't really like the British Empire. But oh man, British Empire. I can respect them. I'll give them a C because I can respect the British Empire for having the biggest empire ever, having such a large scale level of influence. But they did so many bad things. I'll give them a C. British Raj, I'll put them in C along with the British. Like it's pretty much the same thing. British Raj, British Empire, pretty much the same. Bulgarian Empire. Okay, Bulgarian Empire. I like the Bulgarian. I think they were a pretty cool empire. I think they had an impressive military. They were a really solid rival of the Byzantines. They also came in clutch during the 717 siege of Constantinople. They quite literally saved. I want to make a video about how important that siege was. They quite literally saved Europe from the Arab invasion. That is a fact. The Bulgarian Tsar, I forgot his name, but he helped out Leo III, the Byzantine emperor during the siege. For that, Bulgaria, you get A. I like Bulgaria. Bulgarian Empire is cool. Our neighbors to the north. Burmese empires, I don't know enough about them. Byzantines, come on, bro. I'm Greek. Byzantines, best. Yep, easy. S tier, easy S tier. Carthage. Ooh, I think Carthage is cool. Hannibal the Navigator, the rivalries with Rome. I don't know, Carthage isn't impressive. I want to learn more about Carthage. They did sacrifice babies, though, to be fair. That's kind of, whatever. Product of their time. I'm going to put Carthage in A. Chola, I don't know too much. I think they were located in South India, like Tamil Nadu. I know they had an impressive empire. They influenced a lot of places around them, like Southern India, Sri Lanka, and then like Malaysia, I think, and Indonesia, like that part, like that part of Southeast Asia. They're a pretty influential empire, but I don't know too much about them. I can't judge them. Who? Ooh, Denmark. Denmark. Nah, I can't. Again, I can't judge them too much. They're just unimpressive. They're mid. I'm gonna put them in C. Just mid. I don't know enough about Denmark. I'm sorry. I gotta know more. Durrani Empire. Mm, I gotta know more, bro. What? I just know that he was like the only guy who really like united Afghanistan during like the 1700s. Like he was like the guy Ahmad Shah Durrani was like this great general. I remember he united Afghanistan. He kept this whole like all the tribes together, and then once he died, it pretty much just fell apart. That's all I know about it. It's impressive. It's more about the ruler. Like if we're rating the ruler Durrani, that's cool, but the empire itself, unimpressive. I'm gonna put like D. Dutch Empire. Ooh, I like Dutch Empire. I like them. I think they're interesting. I think they're very. I'm fascinated. I've always found the Dutch really fascinating. Like the tulip mania, just how wealthy they were, how brutal they were. They were the first capitalists. The Dutch were, honestly, they pretty much were. And also the navy and all the battles they had with England, and how like they had that whole flood system where they'd flood their country. I saw it on the Louis XIV show where he tried to invade the Netherlands and they flooded the whole country to stop the French from invading them. I thought that was kind of cool. I like the Dutch. Yeah. Ancient Egypt, pyramids. Why not? A, why not? Pyramids, cool. I mean, Ramses the second. I don't know. B, yeah, B. Egypt's cool. Egypt's just. Honestly, I just know the basics about Egypt. Fatimids. Again, I don't really have much of an opinion about the Fatimids. All I know is they had this one caliph, right? Caliph. I'll put him in C. He was like really crazy. He like what'd he do? He like went missing. I forgot who, but there's a sect of Islam that like not worships him, but like do they worship? I don't know, but they like expect him to come back. Like he's their leader or founder of their religion. I don't know what it is. Let me Google him. There's a Fatimid caliph, Al Hakim. That's his name, Al Hakim. He was like crazy. He was insane. Yes, Nazaris. Yes, the Shia sect. And he would like make Christians wear like really heavy cross, like metal steel cross over their neck. He also invented the ballpoint pen, I think someone said. Did he invent the ballpoint pen? Someone said no, never mind. He didn't invent the ballpoint pen. But like, yeah, you should read about it. I want to learn more about this guy, but he was like just cuckoo. Completely cuckoo. Also, I don't want to have my YouTube tab here open. So I'll put Fatimids again. No comment. C. Francia. I just don't know enough about him. I think that's one of the Charlemagne successor kingdoms. Oh, that's the Frankish Empire. Oh, seriously, why don't you say Frank? Come on, why don't you say Frankish Empire? Okay. Charlemagne's cool. Clovis. I mean, the founder of Europe, that's got to count for something. The guy who pretty much, I don't like to say that Charlemagne was the founder of Europe. I don't like that term. Founder of Western Europe, I think is fair. Founder of Europe is like, come on, let's be real here. I would say B. Charlemagne's got A. Charlemagne's got to count for something. He's an important figure. French colonial empire. I don't think much of him. I like Louis XIV and Louis XIII. I think the 30 Years' War, like that whole era where France kind of wins the 30 Years' War. It kind of starts they kind of establish themselves as like a dominant country in Europe, and then Louis XIV kind of builds upon that. And then they just kind of, Louis XV, Louis XVI, and we know what happens with Louis XVI in the French Revolution. So I don't know. Nah, I don't really have much of an opinion on the French. C, pretty mid. I don't really have any strong opinions on the French. Georgian, I like Georgia. A, I really like the Georgian Empire. I think they're super cool. The architecture, like the rulers, like especially like David the Builder. He's a goat, bro. He's a goat. Battle of is it Didi Gori? I think that's the name of it. Didi Gori. Such a cool battle. I'm Greek, so they kicked the shit out of the Seljuks. That's great. Good job. Good job, Georgia. Big up Georgia. So yeah, I like that. I'm a big fan of that. I'm biased. Sorry, I'm biased. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. This is the empires I like. I can be biased. So yeah, shout out Georgia. David the Builder, Tamar the Great. Really cool history. Poor guys. They got absolutely like dealt a bad hand. You got to deal with the Seljuks, the Mongols, Timur the Lame. Gosh, that sucks. Poor Georgia. That just sucks. Yeah, so big up Georgia. I like A. Ooh, German Empire. I like German Empire. You know what? Just because when I played Battlefield 1, I liked playing as the Germans. They had cool uniforms. I know that's a red flag. People don't like saying that, but it's World War One Germany, not World War Two Germany. Give me a break. World War One Germany. Their empire, their outfits are cool, and they're fun to play as on Battlefield One. And also, yeah, and they did a good, and they would have won World War One. Honestly, honestly, no, they should not even gone to World War One in the first place. Kaiser Wilhelm was an idiot. Kaiser Wilhelm had too big of an ego. Germany was on its way to being the number one power in Europe. They were on their way. They had such a huge population, huge industry, and they fumbled it by declaring war. It was, yeah, Kaiser Wilhelm was an idiot. German Empire A. German Empire is underappreciated. They were an impressive country. They were an impressive empire. Ghaznavids, I don't know enough. I really don't. Gokturks, don't know enough. Sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know enough about these guys. Golden Horde, nah, dude. I just know them as like the villains in Russian history, early Russian history. The what do they call it? The Tatar yoke? Is that what they call them? The Tatar yoke? Come on. Nah, I no opinions, man. I'll put them in C. I got no opinions on the Golden Horde. I know not. Should I just put the ones on? No, I'll put them in C. Gupta, I don't know enough. I'm sorry. I don't know enough. Han Dynasty. Where's the Tang Dynasty? Are they here? Where's Tang Dynasty? I like the Tang Dynasty a lot. Are they here? There they are. Okay, Tang Dynasty. So Han Dynasty. What's the GOAT Chinese dynasty? I just want to make a video on this as well, investigating the GOAT Chinese dynasty and kind of coming to that conclusion. It's either Han or Tang, I think, is what people say. I would say, Han B. Lasted a long time. I mean, it's like I like the whole equivalency people draw with them in the Roman Empire. Yeah, I like the Han dynasty. I respect them. Hittites. Oh, oh. I don't know why I say oh after every. I'm sorry. I'll stop doing that. I just get excited. Hittites. Man, Hittites. I really only know them for like a few things. Being in Anatolia, being in the original civilization, not the original, but like one of the original civilizations in Anatolia, and then also obviously losing the Battle of oh my gosh, what's the Kadesh? That's the name, Battle of Kadesh. But C. I'm sorry. I don't have. I really don't have a strong opinion on the Hittites. Holy Roman Empire F. I'm Greek. Byzantine Empire number one, bro. Rome. That's the true Roman Empire. Holy Roman Empire. They're a bunch of frauds. I'll put D, because I like some of their rulers, like Frederick Barbarossa. I don't mind him. Otto the Great. I don't mind. They've got some good rulers. They were a dysfunctional mess, and they're a bunch of frauds and phonies. D. I'll be generous. D. Huns, enemy of Rome. Enemy of Rome. Enemy of Rome. And you got what you deserved. F. Bye-bye. Ciao. Nice to see you. Inca. Inca. I'll put them in the same tier as the Aztecs. Like another impressive pre-Columbian civilization. I think we just got to know more info about them, but I mean, I've seen photos. I've been to Peru once. It was a layover in Lima. But I do want to go to Machu Picchu and Cusco. But I've seen photos; they look beautiful, and the whole Mita system where they could do like these whole big industrial projects, and they still communicate with like the rope thing. I think to this day, that's impressive. I think the Incas are pretty cool polity. I'm gonna put them in B. I like the Incas. I'm gonna learn more about them. Italian Empire, come on, for the memes, bro. Honestly, I like the Italians because they're such a meme. I love them. S, because they're such a meme. Honestly, they're so funny. They're so hilariously bad. They're an S for me because I see the humor in it. It's just funny. Oh, the Japanese Empire. Uh, I find I actually obviously I don't like the Japanese Empire because they did so many bad things. They were really evil. But I love studying them. I find the history of the Japanese Empire, like the period where the Meiji Restoration starts, and then the end of World War II, which is like what 80 or so years. I find that so fascinating. I love learning about that. But they're such an evil empire. So I can't say I like the Japanese Empire, but I also like the Japanese Empire. Do you get what I'm saying? Oh, this is a tough one. I don't know. I'm gonna put him. You know what? Get mad at me. Sue me. Japan's A. B. We'll put him in the middle. Yes, we'll put him in the middle. Khazar Khaganate. I don't know enough about it. I just know they were Jews. They were just Jewish nomads. That's interesting. Jewish nomads. That's kind of cool. And one of the Byzantine empires was a Khazar guy. I'll put him in like C. I don't know enough about him, but I think Jewish nomads is kind of cool. C. Khmer Empire. Man, I don't know enough. What's that place? Angkor Wat. That's cool. And they're kind of cool on Civ 6. And they're pretty wealthy. Um, I can't put everybody in C though. I've never had. You know what? Yeah. Hmm. I got way too many guys in B and C and A. This is like. Hmm. Hmm. I'll put them in C. Yeah. No opinions. Korea. I like Korea. You know what? Korea is one of my favorite Asian countries. Big up Korea. I like Korea. Korea's A. W Korea. I like Korea. The Korean Kingdom's cool. Like Sejong the Great, Admiral Yi, that stuff's all cool. And then even before the Joseon period, like you've got the Goguryeo and Goryeo, and when they won the Salsu River, the Battle of the Salsu River, where like the Koreans defeated this huge Tang Dynasty army. They were like really outnumbered. I find that whole well, let me actually Google it. It's a pretty cool battle. Let me put you guys on. Battle of Salsu River. Oh my gosh, am I exposing my whole? Ah, who gives a crap? Whatever, dude. This is look at that. I mean, obviously it's an Asian battle, so these numbers are highly inflated, but probably still a very impressive victory. Yes, Ulchi Mondok. Who is this guy? What kind of name is Ulchi? Never heard that. Is he Korean? Or is he like a Mongol guy? No, he's Korean. So really cool. Yeah, really interesting battle. So the Goguryeo. So even before that, so I like Korea. Yeah. Well, I'm Greek, man. Come on. Macedonia. Macedonia. S tier. Alexander the Great. Need more. Needless to say. Majapahit. Don't know enough. Malacca. Don't know enough. Mali Empire. A. I like the Mali Empire. Mansa Musa. The Djenne Mosque. Just the sheer wealth. I think the Mali Empire is really cool. I really do. I really like the Mali Empire. Yeah, A. Mamluks. D. I don't really like them. I don't really care for them either, honestly. They just got humiliated by the Ottomans. The Ottomans, because they had no guns, the Ottomans had guns, and the Mamluks just had only exclusively cavalry. The Ottomans just wiped the floor with them. Like it's just not that impressive, you know. I don't like the Mamluks. Okay, Maratha. Um, I don't really. I just don't think beat the Mughals. Mm, I'm sorry if I have any Indian viewers. I don't know that much about them. I need to learn more about them, whether or not I like them. I'll put who? Maurya Empire. I like them. I think I like the Mauryans. The Mauryans are cool. I like the Mauryans. But they only really. I feel like they're a little overrated though, because they didn't last that long. They had two great emperors, Chandragupta and then Ashoka, and like that was pretty much it. And they just collapsed internally. I don't know why. I don't know. We don't know exactly how they collapsed. We don't have enough info. But no, actually the Mauryan Empire is one of the first empires I ever learned about. You know what? I'll put them in S. I like them. You know, I have a soft spot in my heart for the Mauryan Empire. I have a soft spot. I like them. I like them. Mine, I don't know enough. I don't. Cool architecture. I'll put them up with. I'll put them up in B with the Aztecs. I'll just put all the pre-Columbian civs together. You know, they're all cool. Mexican Empire. I'll put them in D. I'm American. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mexico. We beat you guys. I'm an American. I'm biased. I'm sorry. I don't like Santa Anna. I like the Mexican Empire. They were our enemy and we beat them. I told you this is not objective. This is biased. I'm biased. Empires I like and don't like. I'm American. I don't like them. Ming Dynasty. I like the Ming Dynasty. The last Han Chinese imperial dynasty before the Qing took over. They had some cool emperors. I like playing the Hongwu Emperor on Civ 6. I think he's in Civ 6. Is that? I think it's Hongwu Emperor. I like the Ming Dynasty. Are they as cool? Actually, I prefer them over the Han. I'm putting Ming in B and A. I like the Han. I like the Ming Dynasty. They're not my favorite. Second favorite. I like the Ming Dynasty. Mongols. Oh, Mongols. I think the Mongols are cool. I like the Mongols. I really do. S. Mongols are sick. I love learning about them. They're so interesting. And I love the art, like the way they do the paintings of all their the Khans and the emperors. I think it's really cool. I like the Mongol art style. The Mongols are fascinating. Mongols are cool. S. Morocco. I don't have really much to say. I don't have no comment. I have no beef with Morocco. I don't have any opinion on them. See, I have no opinion on Morocco. I don't even know them. Who? I don't know enough about Morocco. They just beat the Portuguese at that one battle where the Portuguese, like, their prince died, and then they think he's gonna come back. Like, no, sorry, he disappeared. And then they defeated the Songhai. Yeah, I can't comment on Morocco. Hold on, I'll be back. Quick bathroom break. All right, I'm back. Okay, Mughals. I don't mind the Mughals. I think they're people are gonna get mad at me. I'm sorry. Some Indian viewers are gonna get mad at me. I don't mind the Mughals. I think they're a cool empire. I think the leadership, the rulers. I learned about the rulers like Akbar, Shah Jahan, and well, obviously Aurangzeb. Like, they all had their achievements. Like Akbar, and then obviously Babur. Babur was interesting. Babur was funny because he wasn't even from India. He was from like Central Asia, but like I think he lived in India, but he like hated it. Like, he ruled like a large part of India, but he hated it. So I just think it's kind of funny. But obviously the Taj Mahal, impressive architectural achievements. I think also the art's beautiful. They had a pretty impressive empire. I mean, they were a gunpowder empire. I don't mind the Mughals. I'm gonna put them at B. This is my opinion. I don't mind the Mughals. I don't mind the Mughals. I'm gonna put them at B. Napoleon. I'm sorry. I love the Napoleonic era. I love Napoleon S tier. I think it's so cool. Yeah. All the marshals. I used to play this game called, I don't know if everybody knows this game, but it's called Total War for Europe. Total War for Europe Napoleon. And the game was like on your phone. I put it on my iPad mini. And you could it was like a pseudo paradox strategy game, but it was a lot like lower level. Like, it was just not as advanced as like EU4 or any other strategy game, but it was like you could tap your soldiers and move them, and they had like special generals that you could attach to a soldier. So you had like pretty much every general from the Napoleonic era. So I loved playing as France. I loved playing as the Napoleonic marshals. I loved it. I was obsessed with that game. That was so much fun. North Sea Empire. Like, I don't know enough about this. I just know
It's 3 o'clock.
I'm sorry. Okay. Thanks, Apple. North Sea Empire. No comment. I don't know enough about them. Oman, don't know enough. Ottomans, all right. Come on. I'm a Greek dude. I hate them. They're the worst. They're just objectively, they're horrible. They just suck. There's a bad empire. I get it. I get Turkish people love them. I get it. But if you ask literally anybody who's not Turkish in the Balkans, some Albanians, so it's like some Albanians and then some Bosnians. I don't know how Bosniaks feel. I think they like the Ottomans. I don't know. But some Albanians and you ask Turks, they're gonna love the Ottomans. Any other ethnicity in the Balkans, they're going to hate them. And I hate the Ottomans. They suck. When they fell, greatest day ever. Yeah. The worst. The worst empire. Just trash. Garbage. Parthia. Not bad. Parthia's all right. Nah, Parthia's an enemy of Rome. No, I'm biased. Parthia's an enemy of Rome. F. Parthia's an enemy of Rome. Poland, Lithuania. I love Poland, Lithuania. I like Poland, dude. I felt so bad. Partitions of Poland, not cool. And Jan Sobieski, dude. What a goat. Just for Jan Sobieski. I love Poland, Lithuania. Portugal, vai galera. Portugal, S. Just because Ronaldo. I love Ronaldo. He's not my favorite player, but he's one of my favorite players. Yeah, Portugal. And I like playing with them on Civ 6. They're fun. The whole trade post stuff. And the favorite country to play on EU4. Yeah, S tier for Portugal. Qing Dynasty. You know, I actually like the Qing Dynasty. I don't completely hate them. I think at C, because their first half is really good. They had a lot of good leaders, and they had a really impressive military, and like culture. Like, China was doing well the first half of the Qing Dynasty, and the second half was just a disaster. Yeah, Qing Dynasty C tier, and I liked some of the art. There's just one. And there's like another reason why I like the Qing Dynasty, that there was this Italian guy. He was a Jesuit priest. He went to the Qing Dynasty, and he was the official portrait painter of the Qing Emperor. So he painted a lot of like European style portraits of the Qing Emperor and of China. It was really interesting. Like, it was like a cool mixture of like Chinese and European art combined. I forgot the name of him, but it's actually I'll Google it right now. Qing Dynasty Italian artist. Or just that's spelling. King spelling. This guy. Giuseppe Castiglione. Ciao, bella. Look at this. It's cool. It's like a mixture of like European and Asian art. It's really cool. Like, this is beautiful. So yeah, for that reason, look at this. This is a cool little painting. Look at that. I look at that. That's kind of cool. So yeah, I don't mind the Qing dynasty. Rome, S tier. I told you guys. I told you. I'm a Roman fanboy. S. Done. Best empire. Okay, no. Let's be real here. We'll put Byzantine, Rome. We'll do like more advanced rankings. Macedonia, 3. All right, there we go. Russia. I I don't mind the Russian Empire. I like him. I do. I like the fact that I love reading about the French invasion of Russia, 1812, or as they call it in Russia, the Great Patriotic War of 1812. I love reading about it. Kutuzov, Bagration, Barclay, de Tolly, all the stories. I think it's so cool. And then Peter the Great, Catherine the Great. I've always liked the Russian Empire. I think it's just got a lot of cool history. Yeah, I'm gonna put Russia in A. I like the Russian Empire, which is ironic. I was like Polish. It's kind of funny that they're next to each other. Safavids. I also don't mind the Safavids too. Cool gunpowder empire. Some interesting rulers like obviously Abbas the Great. Um, I don't know a ton. I like. It's funny because I actually like the Safavids and the Mughals because they're both gunpowder empires, but I hate the Ottomans again. But I'm biased. I don't like. I like this. I don't mind them. I like the Safavids. Safavids are in B. Okay, Sassanids, enemy of Rome. But I also don't mind the Sassanids. I actually kind of enjoy. I played the Sassanids on Total War Attila, and they've got cool architecture, and they were a worthy foe of Rome. I'm gonna put the Sassanids in C. They're cool. I like the Sassanids. I don't. You know what? Screw it. I'll make an exception. I actually, unironically, I really like the Sassanids. The last Zoroastrian empire. That's that's gotta count for something. That's important. I feel like, you know, yeah. I like the Sassanids. Seleucids, S tier, bro. Come on, S tier. Come on. First of all, obviously a lot of fun to play as on Rome Total War 1 and 2, more so 1. Seleucus the First, he was honestly, out of all of Alexander the Great's successors, I'd argue Seleucus was the guy who came the closest to reviving the empire. If that freaking dumbass, what's his name? Ptolemy Karanos, I think his name was, the Thunderbolt, he like assassinated him. He fucked it all up because Seleucus would have reunited Alexander's empire. I think Seleucids were a really interesting empire. I love reading about them. They're fun to play in as video games. Antiochus III, another good ruler. They're interesting history, and also influential too. Like founding like Antioch, they founded Antioch. That's a city where the first people that ever called themselves Christians was in Antioch. That I also like the Seleucids for that. That's a cool little history fact. I like the Seleucids a lot. Seljuks, F. God. Ugh. No, you know what? I unironically, I can respect the Seljuks because they're such an impressive military force. But the Ottomans were also an impressive military force. But the Ottomans were more recent. I low-key kind of respect the Seljuks. No, I don't. No, I'm biased. I don't like the Seljuks. F. Serbia. So I like Serbia. I love Serbia. Serbia's great. I like Serbia. No, I love Serbia. But the empire, I'm sorry, like it's kind of a joke. It lasted like what, 15 years? Like what kind of tenure is that? The Serbian Empire unironically lasted as long as Ange Postecoglou did at Nottingham Forest, bro. Like what? And they also invaded the Byzantine Empire. They were cheeky. They invaded Greece a few times. They were cheeky. The Serbs were cheeky back then. I'll put them in D. Nah, you guys invaded us. Not cool, bro. Nah, but they had Dushan the Great. He was a cool ruler. Dushan the Mighty, I think his name was. Is that his name? Let me double check. Little fact check. Yeah, I was right. Okay, good. But this didn't last very long. Yeah, C. Just not that impressive. Siam. I don't know. I love Thailand. Like I actually like the country of Thailand. Like I've never been, but I like the food. And I like Thai milk tea. This is really stupid what I'm saying, but historically, I don't know enough about them to make a comment. Sikh Empire, don't know enough. I can't make a comment. Songhai, I prefer the Mali Empire, but the Songhai are pretty cool too. Brutal though. I feel like they were like Darth Mali. Like they were Mali, but like evil. Not evil, but more violent. That's kind of how I see them. So I'll put them in C. Where's Mali A? I'll put Songhai in C. I prefer Mali over Songhai. España. Spain. The Spanish Empire. Mm, I don't mind Spain. I prefer Portugal. I low key prefer the Dutch, but I don't mind Spain. I think Spain. Mm, Spain C. I think Spain's got a cool hit. I think the empire was impressive. It was cool. The conquistadors were interesting. The tercios, the navy, and how the empire functioned. I mean, it's a very influential empire. I don't know. I prefer Portugal. I don't know. Just something. Mm. Srivaja, no comment. Sweden, I like Sweden. I love Gustavus Adolphus. I think the Swedish Empire is really cool. I really like reading about the 30 Years' War and Sweden's and the Great Northern War and Sweden's battles against the Danish. I like Swedish Empire. I like, yeah, A. Sweden's A. Tang Dynasty. They're not the Ming. The Ming are the Goat Chinese dynasty. I'll put the Tang in B. Tang are pretty cool. Tibet, no comment. Timurids, honestly, I can respect Timur the Lame because he was a really impressive figure. Like he conquered a lot, but he's also extremely brutal. It was impressive what he did. To me, they're not the Mongols though. I don't know enough about the Timurids, and they didn't last as long as they didn't have as much of an influence on world history as the Mongols did. They were honestly they're kind of an offshoot. They kind of came from the Mongols. You know, yeah, they kind of did. Um, nah, I really C. Timurids are C. Don't have enough knowledge. Umayyads, nah, bro, they were the enemy. They were the Byzantine enemy. But so were the Abbasids. Honestly, I gotta be more consistent with my criteria. Um, oh gosh, there's a plane overhead. What is that? Okay, Umayyads. I'll put him next to the Abbasids. Our respected foe. They had a super impressive run. The military, the conquest. I gotta respect that. And yeah, the Umayyads and Abbasids. They both had their strengths. I actually respect both of them quite a lot. Vietnam, Xiongnu. I just can't comment on these two guys. Yuan Dynasty. I actually watched that Marco Polo show. That's on Netflix. I thought that was pretty good. And honestly, aside from that, like I like reading about Kublai Khan, learning about him. I think he's an interesting figure, and I think the main knowledge I know about the Yuan dynasty, what I know about the Yuan dynasty, is just mainly Kublai Khan's reign. I don't know much about what came after. They didn't last that long. I think they lasted like 200 years. I think just under or just over 200 years. I don't mind the Yuan dynasty. I'll put him in B. I don't mind him. I don't mind the Yuan dynasty. Ethiopia. Ethiopia. I love Ethiopia. I like Ethiopia, dude. Cool empire. Really interesting empire. I'm gonna put him in A. I mean, just mainly like the history of Ethiopia. Look at like especially the Battle of Adwa. They defeat Italy, the only country in Africa to be uncolonized. That's cool. Again, as I said, Axum, Ethiopia. I have an Ethiopian friend. I like Ethiopia. Food's good too. It kind of falls in the same thing. Again, personal biases. And so yeah, I think is that all the empires? That's it. Yeah. So thank you all for watching, guys. This is this was a lot of fun. Yeah. See you guys in the next video.